Other questions? It's hard to see. Yes.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if you're at liberty to discuss what happens after a decision is rendered. So you talked about how you come to that decision, but how is it enforced? How do you react to the way government might implement a decision? I'm thinking of the Potter case.
Yes. Well, I always tell audiences I can't discuss recently decided cases for obvious reasons, and I'm really not at liberty to discuss that. We do our job as a court, and other branches of government do their job, and I have no comment on that particular matter. So, that's all I can say. Yes.
Chief Justice, thank you for your remarks today. Building on the question of capacity building, I wondered if you could just speak a little bit to Canada's role in helping the Commonwealth more broadly, or other countries in developing some of their judicial governance systems.
Yeah. That's an interesting question. The Canadian judiciary is fairly well regarded throughout the world. We're regarded as having a very good justice system on the whole. And we don't have problems of corruption. We don't have many of the problems that plague other justice systems in other parts of the world. We have a good system of judicial education, and I could go on and on. So many other countries want to learn from us. And in fact, there's quite a demand for Canada to provide assistance. And there are ongoing projects all the time. We've just completed a series of projects with China. One of them, we were working with the Chinese People's Supreme Court to develop a code of evidence. Now, they hadn't had a history of a court system as we do, so you can imagine there are no evidence rules on the books. And they have to set about establishing rules for proving evidence and the use of evidence. So that was a very, very interesting project, to give you an idea. There are projects ongoing right now in Vietnam, in parts of Europe. Canada was active in Ukraine, in Russia. We've had projects in a number of countries. And of course the judges will, from all courts, probably the lower courts more than the Supreme Court of Canada, will serve on these projects, but they don't take any pay, and they do it on their own time, really. But it is nevertheless a very useful thing, and I think judges enjoy doing that. That's one branch, judicial, we call it judicial education, judicial formation. And we also get return visits from these people, judges and so on, who come to our country to see how our courts operate. And then there is the Commonwealth organization, which you mentioned, and the Commonwealth Lawyers Organization has attached to it Commonwealth Chief Justices, and judges from all over the Commonwealth get together at the Commonwealth conferences, and there are other ways in which information and learning is exchanged. We also have La Francophonie. Canada participates in sort of a French equivalent of the Commonwealth with and there's a very important aspect of that which concerns French-speaking Supreme Courts, and Canada is active in that. So that takes a certain amount of energy, and we're able to, we hope, provide some assistance. And in addition, there's a variety of other organizations and so on. And then there's exchanges we have at the highest level with Supreme Court of Canada and certain other Supreme Courts, such as the new Supreme Court of the United Kingdom. I was just over for the opening of the Supreme Court, which was an exciting event. The Asia Pacific courts, particularly New Zealand, Australia, and Hong Kong, common law backed courts. We have a reciprocal exchange arrangement with India and with the United States. A group of judges will be visiting the American Supreme Court this spring. They came to visit us about 3 or 4 years ago. So in all these ways, we are participating beyond the borders of Canada. Yes?
Chief Justice, in light of the recent rash of wrongful convictions that seem to be rising in Canada, I wanted to know your view of the problem, particularly with regard to the post-conviction disclosure process we have in Canada.
Well, I don't know if I'm competent to comment on it. There's been discussion in Canada about adopting a commission system such as they have in the United Kingdom, where there is a permanent commission in place to which people can make applications, and it reviews quite a large number of convictions each year and comes up with some that are suspect and recommends what should be done. There's quite serious discussion about moving from our present system, which is within the Department of Justice, to some sort of commission. And I don't mean to pronounce on this, and I don't have the competence. I haven't looked at it in enough depth. But it strikes me that there might be merit in at least discussing such a change. Wrongful convictions more broadly, sadly, do occur. Fortunately, we don't have the death penalty, so hopefully we can redress them when they do occur and they're found out. And I can tell you that the judges are constantly striving to improve jury charges, rules of evidence, and other aspects of the trial process to try to avoid wrongful convictions. And I hope, a lot of times some of the problem is at the investigative level too, as we've seen with various wrongful convictions, and the tendency of investigators to focus on a single suspect and perhaps exclude other possibilities at an early stage and so on. All of that has to be really seriously considered, so we're sure we avoid these insofar as that's possible, and we need to make sure we redress the problem when it does arise.